I'm here for another video. Today I'm here with my wife Bruna. Lately on my channel we've been literally pummeling out content on how to pass the butterfly guard relatively quickly. I've been trying to post almost every day. That's very hard to do. Ideally I would love to have 30 days where I post a video every day, but I do have like a full-time job. I try to train every day too, so it's really hard to balance everything, but I will get to that point one of these days and I'll be posting every day. But we're trying to pummel out this content, and today this is a question that a lot of people ask me about. How do you deal with somebody from butterfly guard when they get into an advantageous butterfly sweep position and they start to sweep you? So this is a very good topic because it's something that happens all the time, guys, and it's something that you need to know how to counter. But one thing that remains constant in a lot of jiu-jitsu gyms is people do the butterfly sweep improperly. They do two very big mistakes. One of them is not so much of a mistake, and I do it myself, I'm guilty, and I sweep a lot of people with it. So what am I talking about? Let's get right into the video so you guys can see. So I'm going to show you the two mistakes, and then Bruna's going to do them for us, and then I'm going to show you how to pass. So on your knees. The first mistake that a lot of people make is not such a big mistake, and I almost feel guilty calling it a mistake because you totally can sweep people with it. So if you sweep people this way all the time, I'm not surprised. I sweep people this way all the time. But high level, I'm talking when you roll with world-class black belts like the Craig Jones, the Bernardo Farias, world-class guys like my friend Giancarlo Bodoni, my old coach Mateus Gonzaga. Those types of guys, if you give them this, you're going to lose. And what I'm talking about is the underhook. If you get an underhook here and then grab their elbow and force it in and give your opponent an underhook, it's very hard to sleep world-class guys. I can't emphasize that enough. I'm talking about really good guys. For the most part, if people give me this underhook, they will not sweep me. Right? I'll start to float and I'll start to show you how I pass in a second. So it's not a mistake because I sweep white through black belts like this all the time. But when I go with like light, agile guys or heavy guys like Bernardo, just world-class guys, and I try to sweep, I've given them an underhook. So I'm making a mistake. What I'd like to do ideally is trap the wrist inside or trap the elbow preferably inside so that they can never post with that hand. So that's the first mistake, and again, I feel guilty calling it a mistake, but I need to show you guys. The second mistake is a mistake, and the mistake is when you fall straight back to both shoulders as opposed to a single hip position. So a proper butterfly sweep position, I've made a video on this, I'm not going to spend too much time, is to fall to a single hip and then use the balls of my toes to jack my opponent up. So my hip is doing a lot of the elevating. Improper butterfly sweep position is to fall straight back and try to sweep my opponent over my shoulder. So now that you know the mistakes, let's talk about passing. So most people, when they get the butterfly sweep, whether they make the first mistake or I force it, meaning they give me an underhook, that's where I'm going to react off of. So a lot of times when somebody's aggressively fighting for the butterfly sweep, I don't want them to grab the outside of my elbow and force it in. This is when I start to get scared. This becomes a huge issue. This is when, if they're good, they're probably going to sweep me. I have to do other things, which I'll talk about in another video in the future, like re-pummel, start to grip fight, etc., etc. But sometimes I know they're searching for this elbow, so even if they grab it, I can force the underhook. So you couldn't see there. Let's turn. I stop myself. So as soon as I see she goes to grab it, I stop by planting on her hip. Very important subtlety that now she's not even making the mistake, I'm forcing it. But she has 90% of the things she needs to sweep me, so it's very likely that she's still going to attempt to sweep me. So what happens? I have this underhook now. She's going to pull me over her, and she's going to go to sweep. So guys, look, I'm going to post both my hands to float, and as she sweeps, I'm going to do a hip switch to my left hip, and I'm going to force my knee behind the crook of her knee to create a folding pass. So she goes, I'm going to do it quickly so you guys can see. She goes to sweep, and we get to here. Let's move back. So we get to here, guys. See what I did? I brought her hook through, okay? I brought her hook through, and I still had this underhook, right? So I posted my hands, and I switched my hip. Now, guys, from here, I'm going to start to pass in various different directions, right? I can come and flatten her here, and I can move my hook to this position and slowly start to pass here, right? I can give up my underhook, dig for head control, and start to hip switch here and pass this way, right? I can continue to hold my underhook and start to walk myself up into the mount. There's a lot of different positions. There's rolling back takes, there's back takes, but more importantly is how we counter. So again, we're hand fighting. I know she's searching for the elbow, right? She goes for the elbow, I grab her hip. Okay, my head is low. She goes to sweep me. And I just force my hip out this way. Okay? A good guy is going to do everything in their power to recompose by pushing you back this way. So we have to stay heavy. What Bruno wants to do, use your foot and start to scoot your hip out that way and push me back to butterfly. Exactly. She wants to get back into an advantageous position. So I need to stop that. Okay? So let's turn and give you guys a better view of my hip. But most important is to get that right side underhook. Again, this video is assuming that the person has good butterfly sweep position. So we're here, right? She gets the position. I grab. My right hand is free. She starts to sweep. I come to here, right? Maybe I control the head and I start to mount. Maybe I control the head and I backstep, right? Maybe I pummel my legs and start to come across. Whatever I do, that's personal preference. If you guys want a follow-up video on my favorite way to pass from the folding pass, I can show you. If you want to see some cool rolling back takes from there, I can show you. Just let me know. But this is a very popular position that you encounter when defending the butterfly guard sweep. One thing to keep in mind, guys, is if it's no gi and you're starting to do this, you are at risk in that folding pass of getting put into a saddle, honey hole, 4-1-1 leg lock position. If you're familiar with that, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're not and you want to see a video, let me know. But the way you avoid that is going to be all about maintaining your partner, shoulders on the mat, keeping them flat, and keeping your hip heavy. I don't want to talk about all that. We're going to get off topic, but I do want to mention it for those of you that are primarily no-gi guys. So again, we're here. One more time. We're hand fighting. She scoots in aggressive. She gets here. And then look, I beat her here. Guys, the saddle honey hole, I have to just show it once, would be if I fall back this way and she keeps her legs tight, and now she can start to attack my inside leg. She technically has a good knee reap right now. So I need to stop that from happening. So again, she goes to sweep me. Boom, she's here. I bring my leg here. I keep my hips super low, guys. If I go too far up and she can squeeze her knee behind me, I'm in trouble. So I keep my hips super low when I'm talking about leg locks, and I immediately start to pummel my legs. Okay? So that's our first variation. Our second's going to be different. Another very, very popular mistake with the butterfly is to pull us straight over their head. This one is a little bit easier to defend. When our partner pulls us straight over the head, we're going to focus on bringing this leg, if she's sweeping us this way, to a one-in, one-out passing position. So it looks like this. So she's here, she starts to sweep us over, and now I get to here. Same thing, I move my hip, and I force half guard, and now I can come into this position. Whether you land standing or on your hip, doesn't matter. So again, we're here. She pulls me over her as hard as she can. And I come here. This time I landed standing. Let's turn. In a knee cut position. Right? So right away, I start to knee cut. So let's look at it one more time. What's happening here? Basically, as she goes to pull me over, my right leg is relatively free. I'm posting on my hands again, and I'm pummeling my right leg in between both her legs. So let's look at it again. So she lifts, and then look, my right leg comes through, and I land on my hip, or, one more time, good elevation, I'm going to land standing. And I land standing. But when you do it quick, and she's really trying to sweep you, you're going to have a lot of momentum. So again, this time go as hard as you can. Boom. So guys, stopping the butterfly sweep is definitely not the easiest thing, but if you understand what you're trying to do, I think it's actually relatively simple, contingent on the fact that your opponent makes these mistakes. Again, if they really plant your elbow through and they have a deep underhook, it's going to be hard to stop. So first things first, grip fight. But if you're aware of maintaining that same side underhook, then I think you're going to do great. So guys, if you like this content, please like, subscribe, please leave a comment. It really helps me out, guys. Any questions you have, I'd love to interact with you guys, so please let me know. Hit the little notification bell to follow along. Thanks to my wife, Bruna. Thanks to you guys. Always, guys. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please help me grow my YouTube channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps me out. Os, guys.